Let's move now to the report structure and see how can we form a report. So in any report, there are three main elements, three main steps or components to make a report. And the first one is the introduction, which is actually the first thing the reader will meet. And here you must talk about two main things, and they are unchangeable. The first one, you should talk about the purpose of the report, and we will see how or what is the purpose. So this is the first thing you should talk about, the purpose. Like this report will discuss, this report will analyze, this report will summarize, this report will maybe demonstrate or illustrate. All of these are purposes. And so when you write a report, you ask yourself, why am I supposed to write this report? What is required? And to understand this, you should write a word that clearly stated to the reader that he will read about maybe your summary, your analysis, your a lot of these things, that maybe you will be certain of once you have a report in your hand. And the second thing that will be written in the introduction, as we said, is what you will discuss and why. For example, if you are asked to discuss the progress up till now in a project, maybe belong to the company, you can say this is to discuss the outcome of this year according to the company's sales, or according to the company's maybe market increase, market sales, or whatever. I'm not so sure about what exactly you can write about. This is something I will leave for you. Maybe I can understand or generate ideas about my own niche, which is teaching. But for you, maybe you will talk about finance, you'll talk about marketing. This depends on what you want to talk about. But you have to state it clearly what you will discuss and why. The second point you will have to take care of are the key points. And this is the second and third paragraph of your report. Maybe there are more paragraphs. Maybe you will talk about multiple key points, or maybe you will talk about one single key point. It depends on what is required from you. So this varies from a topic to another, from a report to another. Not all reports will ask you for one single key point, and not all the reports will also ask you about multiple key points. But the main fact is that they vary. The points alter from a report to another. So it depends on what you are exactly trying to discuss in your report or trying to illustrate. Maybe you will talk about achievements. Maybe you will talk about sales figures. Maybe you will talk about outcomes. So statistics. So these are all key points that you should cover according to what are the tasks you need to fulfill. And these are examples for what exactly the key points can be. It can be a summary, it can be income analysis, it can be your own findings about something, like a discovered, or something you discovered, or an outcome you have, or maybe a review of accounts, like what every finance is just like regular financial report does. It reviews the accounts of the company. And the last thing is the conclusion. And aside from or away from the report, the normal essay, you are not required to write a conclusion like a summary for what you have just written about, like in an essay. No, it's different. In a report, you write about suggestions or recommendations you have for the very topic you are talking about. So maybe you will tell me about a strategy we can handle something that burdens our progress. Maybe you will talk to me about a recommended strategy that will develop or enhance our current intentions of improvement. Maybe you will tell me a solution for a problem that is currently occurring in the company. So it depends on what you want to solve in this report, what you want to convey. So are you required to find solutions, recommendations, suggestions? It depends. A strategy to just form a strategy. So all of these are the conclusion of your report. What the reader is waiting you to say. And here maybe you can tell me about your own subjective opinion about something, but also you will tell me that in a way that I'll feel it's based on data you gathered and outcome you reach it. Look with me with this, or look with me at this example of report. And if you looked here, you will find exactly what we have talked about. This sentence right here is the purpose of the report. This report is to provide an update on the handbook project that is due on December 5th. So this report is to provide an update on the handbook project that is due on December 5th. It's why. Why am I writing this report? What is the purpose of my report? It's to provide an update, to suggest an improvement, to review the accounts. This is the purpose. And then you are telling me something like what all this will be about. What are these key points will say? What it will add to this report? So he's saying here, this project will result in the creation of a new employee handbook that will include updated results and regulations, as well as the approved increase of paid time off. This handbook will increase employee awareness. So this is actually maybe a former introduction to a project that has been on discussion lately in the company, and these are maybe the up-to-date improvements or the up-to-date updates happened or edits happened to this handbook to fulfill the needs of the company. So these are the achievements up till now. As of this date, I have completed the following. So the project is ongoing. And what is happening here is that this person is trying to tell his manager about what exactly he has fulfilled up till now. So he did these bullet pointed things. So he drafted a table of contents, formatted a layout of handbook, composed the first 12 pages of the handbook, and the tasks to be completed are these. These are up to or yet to be completed in the 12th of 2023 on November. So this is actually what is still haven't happened yet. And the conclusion will maybe tell me about if I have any issues to solve. So let's see, the handbook project is on track to be completed by the scheduled date. This project currently has no obvious obstacles or issues, but if they should arise, they'll be promptly addressed. So it's telling me that there are no problems, no obstacles up to now, no issues, and if there are, they will be handled. So this is a conclusion. Doesn't have to have something important all the time, but it does have to summarize what exactly needed from the writer. Let's talk about what is recommended things to include in our report. What will make our report stands? If I am applying for a test and this test will contain a report writing, so what will make my report stand? What will make me take a high mark in writing this report? Or if I'm in a business company or something, what will make my writing different from others who are not literate enough or who are not well educated or maybe not intellectual people who can really write something that really affects their managers or their superiors. So let's see. The first thing, I should include inversions, and we will talk about it like in details. But we first are hinting to what are the things we should include in our essay. So inversions, and we will talk about it in a moment. And inverted conditional, this is something also related to the former one. And participle clause, this one is also amazing and attractive. I like it a lot. And the double comparative, the names, I'm really sorry, the names look very academic, but when we come to practice, we will see that these are things you can use and I can use, and it's available, and it will improve our writing a lot. But at the same time, they may look very academic. On reality, they will be much, much more easier. Passive structures, I think you know that, of course, and the cleft sentence and the linkers. Let's see each one of these and understand more about it. So the first one we have here is inversion. And when we talk about inversion, we talk about these examples ahead. For example, when someone says she plays the piano and she sings, that's very boring. If you talk like this, oh my God, this is a very simple sentence. At the same time, it's not like professional at all. It's not even basic or something I can feel like if you wrote to me like this is a beginner. But imagine when you invert the sentence and say, not only does she play the piano, but she also sings. So do you see what the words not only and but also do to the sentence. So I guess these look like correlative conjunctions. They call it like this in academic grammatical structures, or the conjunctions related to linking sentences together. So these are correlative ones, not only but also. And actually, inversion is something mainly depends on changing the subject from being the initial word in the sentence to be like delayed, and before it comes the adverb and also maybe the verb. So instead of saying she, we can actually say not only does she. So it's like I made the subject comes at the middle of the sentence, and instead I used the verb and the adverb in the beginning. So I said not only does she play the piano, but she also sings. And let's see the second example. He had hardly arrived when it started to rain. Hardly had he arrived when it started to rain. Here we can see that instead of saying he had hardly, which is a very simple, basic, primary way of writing a sentence, we change it that into using the adverb and the verb in the beginning. So hardly had he arrived when it started to rain. Never. This word, I guess, you hear a lot in movies. Like when we say, I have never seen such beauty. Yeah, we may hear that sometimes, but imagine when someone says, or remember when some actors actually depend on saying, never have I seen such beauty, or never have I ever seen such beauty. I'm sure you hear that a lot. So never have I, very much more attractive than saying I have never. So this inversion, it will make your writing more formal and more, or have like a literary tone. And also the inverted conditional is one of the most common inversions in English. The purpose actually of inversion, or the inverted conditionals, that are used to put emphasis on something, or to create a more sophisticated or poetic style. So let's see this poetic style in action. We have, for example, the word where. If I were rich, I would travel the world. Now, imagine with me what will be the inversion. I'll give you 30 seconds. Excellent. He had a good job. So instead of saying, if I were rich, I would travel the world, I could say, were I rich, I would travel the world. Were I rich, I would travel the world. That's beautiful. And this is a more concise sentence, and at the same time, it's much more effective. Also see this other example with had. Let's see this one. If she had known, she would have come. If she had known her beloved one is coming, if she had known her boyfriend was coming, she would have come. She would have definitely come. That's used for the third conditional, and we can say instead, had she known, she would have come. Had she known, she would have come. Instead of saying if she had known. And also using the word should. When we use the word should in the F conditional, we of course may use it for advice or something like this. So if you should need help, let me know. Should you need help, let me know. You see how more concise is this? You see how more sophisticated? I think you didn't see this a lot. But if you didn't see this a lot, this means you don't read American or British literature. You don't read books. You may listen to English a lot, but you don't read a lot. But if you are asked to write a report, you're supposed to read more to understand that there are structures like this in English, which will make your writing more sophisticated. So if you should need help, let me know. And here, should you need help, let me know. Now I want you and all the audience right now, all the people who will hear that, I want you to make two sentences which are inverted. So I want you to put them in the comments down there, and add to the title of these two sentences inversion examples, in order for me to know that you are writing about inversion and that you are writing examples for inversion and reply to you. Let's now take another thing that will make our writing be like a bomb, which we have previously omitted from our writing, but we are just like allowed to use it here in speaking language. So you can't blame me now. So let's see what will make your writing rocket, and let's introduce the participle clause. And you might think when we say the word participle that we will talk about something like I have played, or I have just played, just like the normal use in English for the participle clause, which consists or which consists of have and has plus the past participle. And this is totally wrong. Our participle clause is totally different. It's not about being participle or being in the case of participle or not. It's different than this. It's actually a type of dependent clause. It uses participle, and the participle here is something different, but focus with me and you will right now know what exactly I mean. It's either present or past, and it's used to like provide information about a noun, and it uses the main verb in a sentence as the way we can do that. And if you are patient enough, you will understand right now what it is. So participle clauses are actually types of dependent clause. And when I say dependent clause, I mean it depends on something else. It can't stand alone. There must be another sentence to complete the meaning of the full sentence. I mean, must be another clause to complete the meaning of the whole sentence. So the participle clause also make the sentence more concise. And when we say concise, we mean brief. It makes the sentence more brief, but at the same time more expressive and attractive. So let's say this is an example of the present participle clause. It's actually formed with the ing from a verb. So as you see, it's very, very far away from the state of a participle verb like have, had, and go, gone, be, been. No, this is a totally different thing. This one is like that. So let's see here. Walking down the street, I saw a dog. So as I saw a dog. So let me ask you now, who walked down the street? And I think you will directly answer I. So the subject here is I. I saw a dog. And I am the same person who walked down the street. So why say that twice? You know that saying that twice will be very redundant. And that's why we omitted that. And we could omit that using the participle clause right here. As you see, it's dependent. We can't just say walking down the street and stop. This will be a very fragmented sentence. So we should say, walking down the street, I saw a dog or I saw a dog. And instead of saying, while I was walking down the street, I saw a dog. The other one is very basic and at the same time longer. Best way to say that is walking down the street, I saw a dog. This is a more literary way, a more intellectual way to say things. So when I saw a dog became walking down the street, I saw a dog. And here the participle, the past one. If you are talking in the past, you can say it like this. Imagine with me when I said tired from the long journey, he fell asleep. What do you think the sentence should have been? Think and tell me in the comments. Excellent. Because he was tired from the long journey, he fell asleep. And instead of saying because he was and repeat the verb for a second time, we can say tired from the long journey, he fell asleep. So this is the way you can make participle clauses. There are actually many functions and usages for the participle clauses. They are not used for only one purpose. They are used for different or multiple purposes. First one is time. Look at this one. Having finished his homework, he went out to play. So after he have finished his homework, he went out to play. And we made it like this. Having finished his homework, he went out to play. And also for expressing reason. Given the circumstances, we decided to postpone the meeting. And the word given here is very tricky because this is actually past participle. But notice that this is passive. This is not active verb. The circumstances didn't give. I want you to understand this. If I said I gave, I am the subject. So I can say giving, given like with ing. But here it's given because it's passive voice. The circumstances was given to us based on something. Based on these some circumstances, we decided to postpone the meeting. So I hope you understand this, because what I'm trying to say here is actually when we were given the circumstances. So we were given, we didn't give. So I hope you understand this, that this one is supposed to be given with ing, but it's not with ing because it's passive, but still it's the present participle. It's in the present participle case, or the present participle clause shape. And also condition, it's like the F cases. Provided that it doesn't rain, we'll have picnic. Provided that is just like the word F. So it resembles in case it doesn't rain, we'll have a picnic. So provided that. And also to show contrast, despite being tired, she continued to work. So although she is tired, instead of starting with although and then expressing the verb or the subject verb, typical way of saying the sentence, no, we said despite being tired, she continued to work. Here we didn't start with the subject. We omitted the subject because it's already understood from the second sentence. So this is a participle clause. So as you see, it makes your sentence more fluid, sophisticated. It reduces the number of conjunctions. It creates a complex sentence. It makes your sentence more concise, and mostly people use it not only in formal writing but also in informal contexts. So I hope you try to perfect the use of this one. And here is actually also a link to the British Council essay about it, and this is also a gift here. So I want you to read it very well, because when you read this one, it will help you a lot. Let's see it together. Here it is. It talks about participle clause and it will give you a grammar test. So let's answer the first two and see if we understand this or not together. And I will leave you the link will be in the PowerPoint. So I want you to try that by yourself. Lunch, I sat in the garden with a drink. So make a lunch, I sat in the garden with a drink. Do you think this? Is it supposed to be present? Or is it supposed to be past, or something like in the present perfect? So I sat in the garden with a drink, not, of course, not while making lunch, maybe after I made lunch. So having made lunch, after I had made lunch, I sat in the garden. Let's see the second one. For the bus, she slipped on some ice and fell over. I think this happened while she was doing the other action, while she was running, because it will be very awkward if she slipped after she ran and stopped. So running for the bus, she slipped on some ice and fell over, because this is something that happened during or in parallel with another event. So it will be this. So let's finish here and see answered. Okay, yeah. So we get both of them right. This one is right and this one is right. And the others, I will leave them to you to do them by yourself. Let's go back to our presentation. We have also these ones here. I will also answer with you the first two, but the second or the third and the fourth, I will leave them to you and you do them, and promise me you will do them. Okay, promise. If you have any questions, just write them in the comments and I will reply. We want to turn these sentences now to participle. First one, she was shocked by the news, so she started crying. He is saying the right answer. Excellent, my friend. Yes, exactly. To do a participle clause, we should omit this one. We should omit the subject because it is written right here. We should also omit this one, and we can say shocked by the news. She started crying. We also give up conjunction. We don't need it anymore because we can understand the sentence just by writing these three words and these three other words. Shocked by the news, she started crying. Let's answer this one too. Because he was late, he ran to catch the bus. You can also omit here the conjunction and the verb and the subject because we don't need it. And we will have here was late, he ran to catch the bus. But was is not the right way to put the verb. We can change this to being late. Because he was late, it will be being late, he ran to catch the bus, and those ones will be left to you. Think clearly, remove the conjunction, remove the subject, and start behaving after that. You change this one to the right form and the sentence will be very good with you after that.